Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we're doing more unit reviews. I'm sure you guys are familiar with this series. Basically, you send me in your best Genshin Impact units and I rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 so we can see who has some of the best units in Genshin Impact. But with that all being said, let's go and review some Genshin Impact units. First up, we have a review from Eula Solos, who surprisingly enough wants me to review their level 90 Eula. Let's take a look. Eula. Haven't reviewed one of these in a while. 2000 attack off the bat. Looks pretty good. Are we going to see her best in slot? We're going to see Beacon of the Reed Sea. Interesting choice. I don't usually see this on Eula, but I do believe it can work on her. You got some crit rate and some nice attack percent buffs with the special ability there. Artifacts, 4-piece Pale Flame. Great choice. Constellate. Oh, okay. You want to give me a slice of that pie? Talents, 10, 10, 10. Okay. I see what kind of person we're dealing with today. How many C6s do you have? Oh, it's literally just Eula. Nobody else is even close to C6. Okay. Fair enough. You really like Eula. Can't say I've ever put that much dedication into a character, but you have. I respect it. Let's see. Flower. Holy crap, that is a perfect piece right there. 10 out of 10 piece. Feather, nearly perfect, but you got some flat HP on there, and the crit stats aren't as high as they could possibly be, but it is still a decent piece. Sands, ooh, okay, I see you. This is a good piece. Goblet, okay. Well, you could have had a really good goblet. Unfortunately, the substat distribution kind of screwed you there. Then the hat, pretty good. 13 crit rate, not too shabby. All around a decent build. Not the greatest pieces I've ever seen for a whale player, but still good. You have 73, 225, 117 recharge. Your artifacts give you an additional 35% crit rate and 136 crit damage. That's somewhere in the realm of an additional 200 CV from your artifacts, which is pretty good. It's pretty good. Not the greatest ever, but it definitely works. You have a good crit ratio, decent recharge. Eula doesn't need too much. And of course, you got a ton of physical damage. Just a very, very solid Eula build. Nothing that really stands out as unique other than this, of course. But all around, solid build. I'm going to say this is a 9 out of 10. Let's move on to the next unit. Next up, we have a submission from Simri, and they want me to review their Nilo. Let's see. We got 35k HP, good start, and that's going to be because of Harbinger of Dawn. DPS Nilo? Okay. I mean, that is kind of her intended use. Artifacts, 2-piece Wanderers, 2-piece Noblesse, Burst Nilo? No way. Constellation 0 and talents are 10, 10, 10. You triple crowned her. Okay, this is interesting. This seems like a burst DPS Nilo build. This is actually really cool. Let's see. Flower, pretty decent. Actually, that's like almost perfect. I'd like to see a couple more crit stats there if you are going for that DPS build, but all around pretty good. Hat, yeah, pretty good piece as well. Goblet, decent. Definitely not the best piece I've ever seen, but it can definitely fit on her. Sands, pretty. Oh my god, that's 50 CV, I think, right? Why do you have a piece like this, man? Why does everybody have pieces like this? I don't have pieces like that. That one's pretty good as well. Let's see what your stats are. Oh, 41 crit rate, but Harbinger gives you a little bit, right? Yeah, Harbinger is going to give you an additional 28. So that's going to be what, like 69% crit rate? That's pretty good. So it's actually like 69 to 238 if you're able to keep her at max HP, which is actually really good. 124 recharge and a little bit of hydro damage bonus as well. Very solid Nilo. I do like this build. Burst DPS is a very unique build and not one I'm used to seeing. I think obviously there are better artifact sets for her, but this one's kind of unique. And if you need the substats, I don't mind it too much. So overall, I definitely say it is a very solid Nilo build, and we will give you solid 9.2 out of 10. Let's move on to our next build. Next up, we have a submission from Yuli, and they want me to review their Chong Yun. Interesting, Chong Yun, not used to seeing this character. I imagine because it's a 4-star, we're going to see a DPS Chong Yun, not to mention you have 2.2k attack. Yeah, it's a DPS Chong Yun. Jesus Christ, the Unforged. I don't remember the last time I even saw this weapon. It's kind of a bad 5-star to be honest, but hey, if you're using him with Zhongli or something, I guess it can be nice. But I don't think Chong Yun has a way of producing a shield for himself. Not to mention the sword kind of like implants in his eye with the animation, but that's fine. You have this thing at refinement rank 3, which is kind of insane. Artifacts, 2-piece Blizzard, 2-piece Noblesse, Constellation 6, of course, classic, and talents are going to be 10, 10, 10, as we expect to see from the #1 Chong Yun main. So this is going to be a DPS Chong Yun build. I almost recommend that if you are going DPS Chong Yun that you go 4-piece Blizzard just because of that extra crit rate, and obviously you're not getting any crit from this weapon, so I would strongly recommend that. But let's see what we're working with here. We got an insane flower, other than that one defense roll. Feather, what the hell? Stop. Goblet, why do you have this? Luckily they have an extra flat defense, so it's not the perfect piece. All these pieces are like above 40 CV so far. Oh gosh. Okay, it's not the greatest piece ever. It's good, but it's not the greatest. The hat, this is the first bad piece. This one is inherently a little bit bad. You have him on 5206, which is okay. I don't think he gets any additional crit rate from anywhere, which is why I would suggest the 4-piece Blizzard Strayer for this Chong Yun specifically. You don't have a single point of recharge, which is kind of insane. Okay, 30% shield strength, which you get from the Unforged, which is really funny. Obviously, that doesn't really help him at all, but just a little funny thing to point out. And 61% cryo damage bonus. I mean, you have solid crit stats on all these pieces. You got C6. You got him triple crown. We got to give you at least a 9 out of 10. Let's move on to the next build. Next up, we have a submission from Bella who wants to show me their Noel. Interesting. Level 90 Noel, 2k defense, 0 elemental mastery. Not that she needs it, but let's see. Red Horn Stone Thresher. All right, I see what we're doing here already. I've seen this build before, and it's R5. No. R5? Are you insane? 4-piece husk. Okay. C6, that makes sense. I'm still on this. R5 Stone Thresher? How many pulls did you need to do for this? Is this like an Omega Whale? Oh, this is an Omega Whale. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Okay. We got an Omega Whale account. We don't get many of these. Well, let's see the talents. I'm expecting 10 to 10. Yep, we got 10, 10, 10 talents. Let's go, Noel. You're finally appreciated by somebody. Congratulations. Let's see some of these artifacts. I'm expecting from a Mega Whale, we're going to see Mega Balls pieces. Let's see. Pretty good. Yeah, it's like 30 CV, and especially it's inset. Yeah, that's a good piece. The hat? Ooh, interesting. It's not bad. Because of the 28 defense, it's actually really insane. But preferably, you probably want to see a little bit of crit damage on there just to balance stats. But that being said, you do have an R5 Redhorn Stone Thresher, so who really cares? The flower, that's really insane. Flat defense is less preferable to defense percent, but it's still overall pretty decent for Noel. The feather, yeah, that's pretty decent. You don't really need flat HP, but overall, it's pretty decent. And the sands is pretty broke. I think you could probably get a better offset sands. I'm surprised you're not using defense percent and you're opting for energy recharge instead. Is kind of interesting to me. I mean, I get that her burst is important, but for a DPS Noel in particular, you would assume you want defense percent. That being said, though, you do get like 56% from this, 30% from husk, and you have like another 30% from the hat. So maybe you actually just don't need defense percent. I might be mistaken there. You have 74 208 crit rate to crit damage. That's really good. 156 recharge from that sands that we looked at earlier, and of course you have 2.1k defense. Honestly, you could probably get up to like 2.5k if you had defense sands, but maybe that's kind of a minimal upgrade for you. You know, I can't speak from too much experience since I've never had or met anybody with enough money to have an R5 weapon, so I don't know how much damage this Noel is capable of, but generally we don't base things here off of, you know, whaleism. So I mostly go off just what the weapon is, how good the artifacts are, and what the talents are, and talents are 10 out of 10, weapons 10 out of 10, and the artifacts are probably sitting around maybe a 9 or 8 out of 10. So we will give this Noel a solid 9.3 out of 10. Let's move on to the next unit. Next up, we have a submission from Danny, who claims to be the #1 Nita main. I will be the judge of that. Let's see. 730 EM, 1,000 floating dreams. Okay, you got our best in slot. I respect that. Artifacts, 4-piece Gilded Dreams. Interesting. Not the usual 4-piece Dendro set that you see most of the time. Okay. Is this a main DPS Nahida build? Okay. Constellation. Okay, you got the C2. Okay, respect. Not an Omega Whale thing, but definitely a slight whale move. And then 10 talents. Oh my goodness, you 10'd her normal attack. Okay, we are dealing with the main DPS Nita. So maybe you just didn't go full EM then. I imagine you probably have at least 2 EM pieces on her though. Let's see. Yeah, there's 1 EM piece. You got 28 crit damage. That's decent. Definitely not the best piece ever though. Goblet is EM as well, or Dendro? Dendro. Okay, respect. Dendro damage bonus with some crit rate, crit damage recharge. That's a really good piece. I think this hat has to be Elemental Mastery then, right? Crit rate, really? You have a lot of EM for having crit rate hat. Okay. Crit rate, crit damage, kind of based. I like it. Flower. Holy crap. That is a good piece. Okay. Yeah, that's like 45 CV nearly. Pretty good. Plus you got the extra EM stat. And the feather. Damn. 28 crit damage, 40 EM. Do you have EM on every single piece? Not on that one. You have 23, 21, 40, and then you have obviously the EM sand. So overall, pretty decent spread of EM. Not to mention, you got an additional 60 to 161 crit rate to crit damage. You got some recharge. You got some Dendro damage. This is honestly a pretty good Nita. Definitely a unique build that I haven't seen before. You don't see many people go main DPS Nita. Let's give you, you know what? It's getting kind of old today, but I feel like this is just another solid 9 out of 10 build. I know we've had a lot of those today, but genuinely it's just another solid 9 out of 10 build. So let's move on to the final build of the video. All right, and our last build for the day comes from, and they want me to review their Lisa. So let's see their Lisa. You got the unique Lisa skin. I like this. Weapon is going to be Kagura's Variety. All right. I like that. I like that. Artifacts, 4-piece Thundering Fury. I like that too. Constellation 2. You got a little lucky, but not the luckiest ever. And talents are going to be 8, 10, 7. A skill-based Lisa. I like that. Her skill has pretty high scaling from my understanding, and she can do a lot of damage with it. So I imagine we're just trying to get the most out of her skill as humanly possible. That's why we have Kagura's Verity on there and a 4-piece Thundering Fury. Skill damage Lisa, gonna go insane. Let's see what we're working with. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, that's like almost a perfect piece. Flower. That one fell off a little bit. That one could be a little better. Hat. Pretty okay. Definitely not the best piece ever, but it works. It works. Goblet. That pretty insane. That one's really good. Unfortunately, 1 flat HP, but other than that, it's a really good piece. And the sands. Pretty decent. Definitely not the best piece ever, but I like these pieces. They're really good for where you're at in the game. AR-58 is like slightly like mid-game. So I'd say these artifacts are pretty good for where you are. I like the weapon. I like the uniqueness of this build. Unfortunately, you didn't get too lucky with constellations, but we don't really take that into account here. Your split is going to be 66, 205. You are going to do crazy damage. 132 recharge is pretty good too. They get up that nice little burst, which is decent at best. I don't know. I'm indifferent towards her burst. I think it's okay. And then you also have 306 elemental mastery as well. Yeah, no, this is just a super balanced Lisa that can work in like multiple different scenarios. I noticed you did level up her normal attack, which is interesting to say the least. So you could probably also use like on-field Lisa if you really wanted to. But yeah, interesting Lisa build. I like it. Let's give this a solid 8.5 out of 10. And with that, we are going to end the video there for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'm going to see you all in the next one. Peace.